Welcome to Sapphire, where history isn't just told, it's unwrapped like a frosty secret. From ancient whispers to modern echoes, we keep it cool, crisp, and captivating. So grab your cozy seat, because the past has never felt this chill. Ancient origins. Cannibalism may date back to prehistoric times. Archaeological evidence suggests that early humans, such as the Neanderthals, may have occasionally resorted to cannibalism under extreme conditions. Sites in Europe, dating back to around 1000 years ago, show signs of cannibalistic practices, with skeletal remains displaying cut marks consistent with butchering. This early form of cannibalism likely emerged from survival instincts as early humans faced harsh environments and limited food sources. As we move into the Neolithic period, the advent of agriculture brought about significant changes in societal structures. With more staple food sources, communities began to flourish. However, cannibalism persisted among certain groups. In some instances, it was associated with warfare. Defeated enemies were sometimes consumed as a means of dishonoring them or absorbing their strength and courage. This was evident in certain tribal cultures across Africa and the Americas. Anthropological perspectives. Cannibalism is often understood through a cultural lens. For some societies, consuming the flesh of the deceased is a way to honor their memory and integrate their spirit into the living community. The four people of Papua New Guinea, for example, engaged in endocannibalism, consuming their dead as an act of love and remembrance. Unfortunately, this practice led to the spread of kuru, a prion disease, which caused a neurological decline and death. In contrast, exocannibalism, the practice of consuming outsiders or enemies, serves a different purpose. Cultures that practice exocannibalism often viewed it as a display of superiority or as means to instill fear in rivals. The Aztecs and certain Pacific Island societies engaged in such practices, often intertwining cannibalism with their religious rituals. For the Aztecs, human sacrifice was an integral part of their cosmology, where the offering of human hearts and sometimes flesh was believed to appease the gods. The Age of Exploration. As Europeans began to explore the world in the 15th and 16th centuries, tales of cannibalism emerged, often exaggerated and steeped in colonial mythology. Early explorers and missionaries documented practices they labeled as savage, using these accounts to justify colonization. The infamous tales of the Caribs and the cannibalistic tropes surrounding them were popularized by explorers like Christopher Columbus and later writers. These narratives played a dual role. They highlighted the explorers' perceived superiority while simultaneously instilling fear and stigma toward the indigenous peoples they encountered. This period of exploration coincided with the Atlantic slave trade, wherein slaves were often reduced to brutal conditions, and rumors of cannibalism served to dehumanize African communities. Such exaggerations allowed colonizers to rationalize their actions, portraying themselves as civilizing forces against barbaric practices. Modern instances and cultural cannibalism. In the 19th and 20th centuries, reports of cannibalism continued to surface, particularly during times of conflict and famine. Famously, during the winter of 1846 to 47, members of the Donner Party resorted to cannibalism to survive after getting trapped in the Sierra Nevada mountains. This tragic event highlighted the desperate measures humans might take when faced with life and death. Cannibalism also appeared in more modern contexts as societal norms continually shifted. In the aftermath of World War II, there were accounts of cannibalism among starving populations in places like the Soviet Union and China, illustrating how dire situations can push individuals toward this abhorrent practice. Cultural representations of cannibalism have also evolved in modern media. From horror films to literature, cannibalism has been used as a symbol of societal breakdown, moral depravity, and the primal instincts lurking beneath the surface of civilization. Words like Silence of the Lambs and The Silence of the Lambs have captivated audiences, intertwining narratives of cannibalism with themes of psychological horror. Ethical considerations and contemporary perspectives. Today, cannibalism remains a topic of both fascination and repulsion. While modern society largely condemns it, discussions often revolve around ethical considerations in extreme situations. For instance, what moral dilemmas arise during life and death scenarios where survival is at stake? Philosophers and ethicists frequently engage with such hypotheticals, which evoke debates around the sanctity of human life versus instinctual survival. Furthermore, some anthropologists emphasize the importance of understanding cannibalism in its historical and cultural context rather than framing it solely as a grotesque act. They argue that dismantling universal judgments can lead to a deeper understanding of human behavior and societal structures. As we conclude our exploration of the complex history of cannibalism, we are left with a chilling reminder of humanity's darker impulses. From survival driven by desperation to cultural and ritualistic practices, cannibalism exposes the fragility of morality when faced with extreme circumstances. It also underscores the persistent myths and cultural narratives that surround the practice across different eras. Thank you for joining us on this journey through time. We hope you found this exploration informative and it may even linger in your thoughts as you go on about your day. Until next time, and remember that history, with all its fascinating depths, awaits your return. This is Sapphire History.